The Evil Clown horror story. I never believed in haunted toys. My sister did. She collected them. Porcelain dolls, jack-in-the-boxes, old carnival trinkets she'd buy from dusty antique shops. I used to tease her about it until one toy ended everything. It started with a laugh, not the sweet giggle of a child, not even the sharp bark of a circus clown. It was a low, drawn-out chuckle, the kind that slithered under your skin and stayed there. That laugh came from the clown doll. It was a Tuesday evening when we found it. A new antique store had opened at the edge of town. Harper's Curiosities, written in gold letters that were peeling off the old wooden sign. The store smelled of mothballs and forgotten time. Shelves were cluttered with cracked picture frames, faded photographs, rusted keys, and chipped china. But my sister, Alina, walked straight to the back of the shop, drawn to a shelf draped in red velvet. And there it sat, a clown doll. It was about 2 feet tall, dressed in a faded red and white suit, its paint flaking off like shedding skin. The smile stretched too wide, carved into the porcelain face. One eye was blue, the other missing entirely, a hollow socket filled with darkness. "I want it," Alina said, her voice hushed. "Are you kidding?" "That thing looks like it eats souls," I muttered. The shopkeeper, a gaunt old man with hands that shook, appeared suddenly behind us. His eyes were pale, almost colorless. "That doll isn't for sale," he said sharply. Alina frowned. "But it's on the shelf." He hesitated, his gaze flicking toward the clown. "Some things in this shop are meant to be seen, not owned." But Alina insisted. She always did. The man finally relented, wrapping the clown in old newspaper and muttering something under his breath, words that didn't sound like English. When we got home, she placed the doll on her dresser. That night, I woke to laughter. At first, I thought it came from outside, maybe a stray sound from a TV in the next house. But then it came again. Closer. Soft. Low, echoing through the walls. I turned on my bedside lamp, my heart pounding. The sound was coming from Alina's room. When I opened her door, the air inside was freezing. The window was shut, but the curtains were swaying. The clown sat on her dresser, facing the bed, and Alina was sitting upright, her eyes wide open, her face pale as chalk. "Alina?" I whispered. She turned to me slowly. "It's laughing," she said. I followed her gaze. The doll's mouth, the painted cracked porcelain grin, was moving. The next morning, she claimed it was a dream, but I saw it again the following night. This time, the doll was sitting on the floor near her bed. Its position changed. Neither of us had touched it. When I picked it up, its surface was warm, not like room temperature porcelain, but warm, like skin. That was when I noticed the faint smell. Burnt sugar, the same scent you get from cotton candy on fire. Things escalated quickly after that. Alina started talking to it, whispering, giggling, acting like she was confiding in a friend. Sometimes I'd catch her standing still in front of the mirror, the clown doll cradled in her arms. Once, I swear, I saw its reflection move differently from hers. I told my parents, but they brushed it off as imagination. "She's just lonely," my mom said. "It's her comfort toy." But I knew it wasn't normal. One night, I decided to record it. I placed my phone facing her dresser before I went to sleep. The next morning, I watched the footage. At first, nothing. Then, around 3:07 a.m., the clown's head turned, slowly, toward the camera. Its smile widened, the jaw cracking audibly. Then the lights flickered. A shadow rose from behind it, shaped like a man in a circus coat and hat, tall and distorted, his face hidden behind a mask. The screen went black. When it came back, the clown doll was gone from the dresser. The camera panned, on its own, to the mirror. And in the reflection, I saw it, the clown standing behind me, its hollow eye gleaming red. I dropped the phone. My hands were trembling. When I ran to Alina's room, she wasn't in bed. The window was open. The curtains swayed like arms. The clown sat on the sill, staring out into the night. And carved into the wood beneath it, deep, fresh scratches, were the words, "The circus never ends." The next day, she was found wandering outside the old Harper's Curiosities shop, barefoot, her dress torn. She didn't remember how she got there. But her voice had changed, softer, slower, like someone else was speaking through her. When she laughed, it wasn't hers anymore. It was his. The clown's. Later that evening, while she slept, I went to burn the doll. I placed it in the fireplace and struck a match. As the flames touched its body, it screamed. Not like a toy, like a human. I stumbled back as the fire roared high, then suddenly extinguished itself. The doll was gone, but carved into the ashes were the same words again. The circus never ends. And when I turned, I saw Alina standing behind me, eyes pitch black, blood dripping from her fingertips. She smiled. He says you shouldn't have done that. Alina's voice was not her own. It was deeper, layered, as if something else was speaking through her. Her lips moved, but the voice that came out echoed, like it was coming from inside a hollow room. He says you shouldn't have done that. The candles flickered violently. The walls groaned. The painted clown mask on the floor twisted, as if made of flesh, its grin stretching wider, its hollow eyes dripping thick, black tears. "Alina," I whispered, stepping backward. "What's happening to you?" She tilted her head, smiling with a grotesque calmness. "Do you know why he wears the smile? Because he wants yours." Then the lights went out. A piercing laughter filled the room, high-pitched, distorted, echoing through my bones. It wasn't coming from Alina. It wasn't coming from anywhere. It was everywhere. When the light flickered again, she was gone. Only the clown mask remained, now smeared with fresh blood. I ran. My footsteps pounded down the hallway as laughter followed me, crawling across the walls, slithering behind my ears. I burst through the front door of the house, gasping for air. Outside, the night was fog-choked. The street was silent, but in the distance, under a flickering streetlight, I saw it. A clown, tall, thin, holding a red balloon that pulsed like a beating heart. Its head twitched. Its grin stretched too wide, splitting the skin at the corners of its mouth. "Alina?" I whispered. The clown's head snapped toward me, and the balloon burst, not with air, but with a splash of thick, dark blood. I froze. The air grew heavy, like the world had stopped breathing. Then I heard it, a whisper inside my head. "You touched what was his. Now you belong to him." I stumbled backward, clutching my ears, but the voice grew louder. Overlapping laughter, screaming, whispering names that weren't mine. The ground beneath me cracked. The fog turned into shadows with faces, painted faces, all smiling, all watching. I turned and ran, through the dark streets, through the whispering fog. But no matter how far I ran, I kept ending up at the same corner, the same flickering streetlight, the same bloody balloon lying in the gutter. That's when I saw something etched into the concrete, jagged words scratched into the road. "Smile and he sees you." My heart slammed in my chest. I looked up. There was a mirror shop in front of me, every window filled with reflections of clowns. Dozens of them. Some were laughing, some were weeping. One, in the center, had no reflection at all. That's when I realized it wasn't a mirror. It was glass, and behind it, something was moving. A hand slammed against the inside of the window, a painted, gloved hand. Then another, then another. The glass cracked, one thin line running across the surface, and then... snap. The clown stepped through. Its makeup was peeling, its teeth jagged and yellow, its eyes empty sockets filled with crawling insects. It looked down at me, then grinned. "You smiled." Before I could move, its hand shot forward and grabbed my face. I screamed, but it wasn't pain I felt. It was emptiness. It was pulling something out of me, something warm, something invisible. My reflection in the window started smiling even as I wasn't. When it finally let go, I stumbled backward. My reflection stayed. It smiled at me, eyes black, mouth stretching unnaturally wide. And then My reflection whispered, "Now I'll live for you." The glass shattered. Darkness swallowed everything. When I woke up, I was lying on the cold floor of the abandoned house again. The same place it all began. The clown mask was beside me, and inside its hollow eyes, I saw something move. Alina, her face was inside the mask, screaming, trapped. I backed away, trembling. The mask started laughing, her scream turning into distorted giggles. Then it whispered, "He's not done yet." The door slammed shut behind me. Footsteps echoed, slow, deliberate, heavy. A red balloon floated past my face and brushed my cheek. Then I saw him, the same clown, his grin wider than ever, his eyes hollow voids that sucked in the light. He leaned forward until his cold breath touched my ear and said, in a voice that was both a whisper and a growl, "Let's put on your smile." The clown's words crawled into my mind like worms burrowing through wet soil. "Let's put on your smile." I couldn't move. My body felt heavy, as if invisible strings were tugging me upward like a puppet. The clown tilted its head, eyes glittering with an unholy delight. Its gloved hand reached into the darkness, and when it pulled back, it held a second mask. It was my face, pale, lifeless, lips stretched into a forced grin. I screamed, but no sound came out. My throat constricted. My reflection, still smiling in the shards of broken glass, began moving independently, mouthing the words I couldn't say. "It's time to laugh, forever." The clown pressed the mask against my face. The moment it touched my skin, it melted, the flesh on my cheeks seared like fire. My eyes burned. I tried to tear it off, but my fingers stuck to my skin, glued by something thick and warm. Blood. The clown stepped back, watching, amused. Then it whispered, "You see, the smile isn't a choice. It's a gift, one I gave to Alina first." My heart stopped. "What do you mean, Alina?" I choked. He turned, and behind him, in the flickering shadows, I saw her. Alina was hanging upside down, suspended by invisible threads, her face split open in a grotesque smile. The corners of her mouth were torn up to her ears, and her eyes were black pits leaking tar-like tears. "He made me smile," she whispered. "And now he'll make you laugh." The walls began to move, peeling, cracking, revealing hundreds of clown faces carved into the wood, each one grinning, some crying blood. Their mouths opened, whispering in a chorus, "Smile, smile, smile." I fell to my knees, shaking, clawing at the floor. I could hear their voices echoing inside my head. Blending with my heartbeat, the clown crouched beside me, placing a hand on my shoulder, its touch ice cold. "Every generation paints their fears," it said softly. "They call them demons, curses, nightmares. But I am older. I was born the day laughter turned cruel." It tilted its head, its painted grin cracking like dry porcelain. "When children laughed as others cried, I was born." Behind him, the shadows began to twist into forms. Clowns hanging from strings, puppets with bleeding eyes, dolls whose mouths opened in silent screams. He continued, almost tenderly, "I feed on the sound of false joy, the forced laughter of the broken. Every mask you wear, every lie you tell to hide your fear, that's me smiling through you." The walls were closing in now. I could hear Alina's scream turning into manic laughter, echoing, splitting into multiple voices. I crawled backward, gasping, "No. No, I won't wear your smile." The clown's grin widened. "You already are." I looked at my reflection in the cracked glass. My lips were stretched in a fixed grin, my eyes empty, my skin pale. I wasn't controlling it. My face was moving on its own. Then, something inside my chest began to move. I felt it, something crawling beneath my ribs. I screamed, clutching my stomach, as a painted red smile began to form across my skin, carved from the inside out. Blood spilled across the floor. The clown stepped back, clapping slowly, mockingly. "Beautiful." "You're ready." The air shifted. The laughter outside grew louder, as if an entire carnival had come alive. The floor beneath me cracked open, revealing a dark abyss, filled with balloons made of human faces. Masks floating in the air, whispering secrets and laughter. The clown extended its hand. "Come now, join the show." I shook my head, backing away. "No." But behind me, hands grabbed my legs, cold, bony hands. painted with white gloves. Dozens of clown hands dragged me toward the pit. I screamed, clawing at the ground, but the wood splintered beneath my nails. My reflection in the broken glass grinned wider, blood dripping from its mouth. "Welcome to the laughter eternal," it whispered. I fell, down into the darkness, where laughter echoed like thunder, where lights flashed in spirals, where faces danced without bodies. When I hit the ground, I wasn't in the house anymore. I was standing in a carnival, but not one from this world. The sky above was swirling red, and the rides were made of bone. The carousels spun with screaming faces, and every balloon was pulsing with something alive inside it. The clown stood on a small stage, bowing to invisible applause. "Ladies and gentlemen," it announced, spreading its arms. "Tonight's main act, the boy who tried not to laugh." Spotlights made of fire turned toward me. My skin began to crack, white paint seeping from beneath it. My clothes turned to a dirty clown suit. I was becoming one of them. "No," I screamed, trying to tear the makeup off, but it was growing from inside me. My mouth stretched painfully, my jaw cracking as it locked into a permanent grin. My voice broke into laughter, shrill, hysterical, uncontrollable. I could feel my sanity dissolving. The clown approached, leaned close, and whispered one final truth. "Every laugh hides a scream. Every mask hides a monster. You just let yours out." The world spun. The carnival lights flickered violently. And then everything froze. Silence. And then a single sound. Knock, knock. A child's giggle echoed. Somewhere, in the real world, a little boy found an old clown mask in his attic. He smiled, curious, as he put it on. The laughter began again.